Hello my dear friends, welcome again. Now we are discussing the last part of electric current for 10th standard, that is electricity part 3. In this case we will be going to discuss magnetic effect of current. So I hope you know what a magnet is. A magnet is an object which attracts pieces of iron, steel, nickel and cobalt. So many forms of magnet you can see. Generally we use a bar magnet and a horseshoe shaped magnet. So if you talk about the properties of a magnet, it has two poles like north pole and south pole. The end of a freely suspended magnet which point towards the north direction is known as the north pole of the magnet, and similarly the south pole of the magnet. And most important is like magnetic poles repel each other, means north and north will repel each other and south will also repel each other. Whereas unlike magnetic poles attract each other, that is north and south will attract to each other. So one important term now comes is the magnetic field, that what a magnetic field is. A magnetic field is the space surrounding a magnet, a space surrounding a magnet in which magnetic force is exerted, means influence of that magnet is seen, the space surrounding that magnet in which its influence can be seen, so we call it as a magnetic field. Then what are magnetic field lines? These terminology will be seen in the later section of the today's topic. The magnetic field lines are these are the lines drawn in a magnetic field, along with a north magnetic pole would move. That is, these are also known as magnetic lines of force. The direction of these magnetic field line at any point gives the direction of the magnetic force on a north pole placed at that point. So how you draw this, how you plot these magnetic field lines. So you can use a bar magnet in that sense. You can take, there are various methods using bar magnet. You can do so. Take a cardboard like this, put a bar magnet here. This is the bar magnet. Now if you sprinkle some iron fillings on this, you will observe that these iron fillings on this bar, let us suppose this is a bar magnet, and iron fillings will be seen like this. Like this. So these are just this is showing, what it is showing is that the magnet is having influence on the surrounding areas, and accordingly you can get the magnetic field lines. Most properly, how you get there is some different method also to plot these magnetic field lines, that is the compass, that is the plotting compass. I hope what you know that what a plotting compass is. Plotting compass is like this. There is a needle in it. This is the compass needle. The tip of this compass needle points towards north and its tail points towards south. It is a plotting compass. So it is so what you can see here, using this plotting compass also you can have the magnetic field lines like this. Take a bar magnet, got it. Now this is north section, so you put the magnetic compass, this plotting compass here, then it will arrange itself like this. Its south will point towards north, and because of unlike poles. So then again you can put more and more compasses, this floating compass. So in this way you can have like this. Similarly you can have like this, you can have it in this way. So in this way you can plot the magnetic field lines. Put the floating compass and you will get the magnetic field lines. So what will be the characteristics of these magnetic field lines as you plot it? So in general sense you will see that the magnetic field lines are like this. This is the magnetic compass. So it will originate from North Pole and ends towards South Pole, as you can see here, like this. So what are its characteristics? Like this, it is coming from north and ending towards south. So these are the what are the properties of such magnetic field lines? First is the magnetic field lines, it originate from North Pole and North Pole of a magnet and end at its South Pole. This is the very first character. Then as you can see here, and at poles these magnetic field lines are closer to each other. So they becomes closer to each other. So here the second characteristic will be, since the magnetic field lines are closer to one another near the poles of a magnet, got it? So strong force of magnetism will be seen at these poles, means at the North Pole as well as South Pole. And lastly, the magnetic field lines, they don't cross each other or do not intersect each other. Two magnetic field lines will not intersect each other. So they won't intersect like this. Got it? They won't, it is not possible. This is due to the fact that resultant force on a North Pole at any point can be only in one direction. So if two magnetic field lines intersect one another, then the resultant force on a North Pole placed at a point of intersection will be along two directions, which is not possible. So next topic we come here is magnetic field of Earth. Magnetic field of Earth. What this topic says is that if a freely suspended magnet, a freely suspended magnet always points towards north-south direction, even in the absence of any magnet. Why it is so? Because Earth behaves like a magnet. So that's why what we want to say is that let us suppose this is the Earth here. Got it? So there is a huge magnetism. There is a huge, you can say, stock of molten iron in the Earth crust. So that behaves like a huge magnet. We can suppose that this is an imaginary magnet, Earth's imaginary magnet. Got it? So this is the North Pole and South Pole. These are the geographic north and geographic south. Geographic North Pole and South Pole. Got it? So South Pole of Earth's magnet, it points towards north, geographic north, and North Pole of Earth's magnet will points towards geographic south. So why it is so? Got it? So one more thing is there, that if now because of these north and south poles, if we suspend a magnet, then it will always point towards north and south directions. So, and more important is that axis of Earth's magnet and geographical axis do not coincide with each other. So both these axes of geographic and Earth imaginary axis, they don't coincide with each other. The axis of Earth's magnetic field is inclined at an angle of around 15 degrees with the geographical axis. So due to this, a freely suspended magnet make an angle of about 15 degrees with the geographical axis and points only approximately in the north-south direction, not the actual direction, but it will point towards the north-south direction. Got it? So very important here is that Earth's magnetism is just due to the magnetic effect of current, which is because of the flowing in the liquid core at the center of the Earth. That is the main thing, and so that's why Earth is, you can say that Earth is a huge electromagnet. It behaves like a huge electromagnet. Then what are electromagnets? We come to the next topic. Now just see magnetic effect of current, that is electromagnetism. It was discovered by Ørsted in 1820s. So what it says is a current flowing in a wire always gives rise to a magnetic field around it. So, means if current is flowing through a wire, then it will give rise to magnetic field. Magnetic field will be there. So we can see here, if you have, this is the experiment to demonstrate the magnetic effect of current. So you can see there, this a circuit has been shown to you. There is a conductor over here, a switch is there, a battery has been linked to this wiring, this conductor, and a plotting compass is put over here. So there is no deflection in this plotting compass till yet. But once you pass on the electricity through this battery, then you can see that electricity is going towards, the current is going downwards, and there is some deflection in this plotting compass. Why this deflection is? Because of magnetism produced by the current in this conductor. That is what the electromagnetism is. Because magnetism is here and the plotting compass is also there, so the deflection will be seen in this sense. So deflection of compass needle by current carrying wire in this experiment shows that an electric current has been developed around a magnet. An electric current is developing a magnetic field around this wire. So now magnetic field patterns produced by current carrying conductors having different shapes. So there are different types of conductors, like this is a straight line conductor, straight current carrying conductor. In this case you can see that this is the experiment over here. We put a straight current carrying conductor and the cardboard is there. Some iron fillings are being sprinkled over here. Once you pass on the current, then switch is also attached. Once you pass on the current, then what you will see, that magnetic field lines are being developed in this manner. So what will be the direction of this magnetic field lines? This is given by the right hand thumb rule, Maxwell right hand thumb rule. So what is there? If you grasp the current carrying wire in your right hand, just like this, if you grasp the current carrying wire in your right hand so that your thumb points in the direction of field, as you can see here, the thumb is pointing towards the direction of field. Got it? Direction of current. Then the direction in which your fingers are curling, like this, just see, you just hold it up and the thumb is pointing towards the direction of current, and the finger that is encircling the wire will give the direction of, like this, the direction of magnetic field. You can have like this. Got it? So these are the fingers curling, the encircling will give the direction of magnetic field around it. So this is obviously, if current is upwards, then the direction is anti-clockwise, as you can see here. Similarly, now if magnetic field pattern due to a circular wire carrying current, circular wire is there, as you can see. Got it? This is a circular wire, cardboard is attached here with, iron fillings are same is the case. Now you just pass on to the current through this battery, and you will see that you will observe the magnetic field lines, they are developing here like this. So the direction is given by this very concept, that if current is moving upwards, then it is anti-clockwise, as you can see here also and here also. If it is moving downwards, then it is clockwise, as you can see here. So in the center it will be maximum, you can see that. because of both these curves at the center, this magnetic field will be effect will be maximum over here. So if you call about the magnitude of this magnetic field pattern in this current carrying loop, it is directly proportional to the current. I is, let us suppose I is the current. Secondly, it is inversely proportional to the radius of loop. R is stands for radius of circular loop. Got it? This is an important concept over here regarding it. And important thing is, it will also once you are having such type of coils and all, if magnetic field is being produced, so obviously it should have north and south poles. So what is being absorbed there, that such type of activity like this, if current is flowing clockwise, then just see, put the legs of endpoints of S and you will get the south magnetic pole. This is south magnetic pole. And similarly, if you just see the end of the loop in which it is just anti-clockwise, this is clockwise, this is clockwise, current is moving like clockwise, and so south magnetic pole will be there. And in case of anti-clockwise, just put like this, if you pull the legs of N, you will get magnetic north magnetic pole, and here the current is anti-clockwise. So if current is around the face of circular wire, if it flows in the clockwise direction, then you can say that it will face give you the south pole. And if the current around the face of circular wire, it flows in anti-clockwise direction, then it will face towards north pole. The face will give you the north pole. A very, very simple concept. Now again, then the third one is magnetic field due to a solenoid. What a solenoid is? A solenoid is, it is a long coil containing large number of close turns of insulated copper wire. Got it? So these is a solenoid, as you can see here. The magnetic field produced by a current carrying solenoid is similar to the magnetic field produced by a bar magnet. So here you can see there a battery has been attached, and this is a solenoid over there, and current is passing through it, and every end it is passing and it is going in this way. So some magnetic field has been induced over there. So one end of the current carrying solenoid will behave like as a north pole, and the other end will be behaving as a south pole in that sense. How you will know that whether this is a north pole or this is a south pole, this is the south pole and the north pole, how you will determine? So what you can do is, we bring the north pole of a bar magnet near both the ends of this solenoid. So the end of a solenoid which will be repelled by the north pole, obviously it will be its south pole, north pole, and the end of the solenoid which will be attracted by the north pole of a bar magnet, obviously it will be south pole. So that's accordingly you can have know to determine which is the north and the south pole. So here very important concept is the strength of this solenoid. The magnetic field produced by this solenoid, it depends on the numbers of turns in a solenoid. Very important. So more the turns, more the magnetism will be produced. Secondly, it also depends, the magnetism produced depends on strength of current. More the large the current passed through this solenoid, stronger will be the magnetic field produced. And lastly, nature of core material that is being used. We generally use soft iron rod as a core in this solenoid, so it will produce the strongest magnetism. So what is a electromagnet? So an electromagnet, it generally works on the magnetic field of current. So how it works? What is an electromagnet? It is a magnet consisting of a long coil of insulated copper wire wrapped around a soft iron core that is magnetized only when the current is passed through it. Very important is, once you pass the current through it, only then it will behave like an electromagnet, else not. Once you switch off the current in the solenoid, it no more behaves as a magnet. So all its magnetism will disappear. Generally, that's why we use soft iron core over here, soft iron core instead of steel, because steel won't lose magnetism when the current is stopped. So steel is not used for making an electromagnets. So here also its strength depends on number of turns. Firstly, number of turns in the coil and current flowing in this coil. Large the current, if the current is increased, the strength of electromagnetism also increases. And lastly, length of air gap. This is also important. Length of air gap between the poles. That's why if we reduce this air gap between the poles, then strength increases. Mind this thing. That's why if you are making a bar type electromagnet or a U-shaped electromagnet, as you know, in a bar type electromagnet, it is not very strong. Why? Because north and south poles, in that case, gap is little bit more. But in case of U-shaped magnet like this, as you can see here, let us suppose this is north pole, this is south pole. So the difference or the gap is less over here. So it will become a very strong electromagnet. So there are differences between a bar magnet and electromagnets. A bar magnet is a permanent magnet, as you know. An electromagnet is a temporary magnet. Got it? A bar magnet, a permanent magnet gives you comparatively weak force of attraction, but you can have very strong of magnetic force in electromagnets. The strength of a permanent magnet cannot be changed, as you know, but the strength of an electromagnet can be changed by these three concepts. Obviously, the polarity, that is the north-south directions of a permanent magnet is fixed, cannot be changed, but the polarity can be changed in an electromagnet by changing the direction, just changing the direction of current, and you can change the polarity, means north-south directions of a electromagnet. Then is force on current carrying conductor placed in a magnetic field. This is the kicking wire experiment. What does it mean? A magnet exerts, just remember the concept, a magnet exerts a mechanical force on a current carrying wire. If there is a current carrying wire there and it is placed in a magnetic field, then some force will be exerted on that wire, got it, and it will set that wire into motion. So what we call is here that when a current carrying conductor is placed in a magnetic field, a force is exerted on the conductor which can make the conductor move. As you can see here, a thick copper wire is being suspended here vertically, and it is a flexible joint, and its one end is dipped into a vessel that is having mercury, because mercury is used here because it is a liquid metal and it is conducting electricity. So and the other ends are being attached to a battery and in this manner, and to complete the circuit, got it, this is again a wire that is being attached to the negative terminal. So once you place this wire in the magnetic field, as you can see here, current passes and you pass the current through the battery. As you can see, current is moving downwards. What will happen? Current is moving downwards and magnetic field is from north to south, as you know. So there will be a motion in this wire, and it will come out from this mercury vessel. So once it comes out from the mercury vessels, why it came out from this mercury vessel? Because forces has been exerted on this conductor. So once it comes out, then you can see that circuit breaks, and so no more current is over there in this very conductor, and it turns back to its actual position. So this is being seen over here, and again current circuit is completed, then again current will pass, and so again it will move forward. So such type of kicking will be seen in this sense in this conductor, in this wire. So this is the kicking wire experiment, you can see. Very important here is that maximum force is exerted on a current carrying conductor only when it is perpendicular to the direction of field. If it is perpendicular, it means it cuts the direction of the magnetic field, means it should be perpendicular. It should be perpendicular, not parallel. So maximum force is seen in the perpendicular if this current carrying conductor, it is placed, it is perpendicular to the magnetic direction of magnetic field. No force acts on a current carrying conductor when it is placed parallel to the magnetic field. Remember this thing, that is very very important. To give the direction of this concept, we have Fleming's left hand rule, in which what we do is we hold the forefinger of the left hand. This is my left hand. So just see what is happening here. Fleming's left hand rule: hold the forefinger, the center finger and the thumb of your left hand at right angles to one another. It should be right angles. As you can see, this is right angles. As you can see, right angles and right angles. It is the left hand, obviously. So adjust your hand in such a way that the forefinger points in the direction of magnetic field. The center finger points in the direction of current. Center finger should be in the direction of current, as you can see in this example. So center finger is in the direction of current. Got it? Center finger is in the direction of current. Got it? Then what will happen? And forefinger in the direction of magnetic field. Forefinger is this, the direction of magnetic field. Center finger is downwards, as you can see here, obviously. And thumb will give the direction of this magnetic. Thumb will give the direction of force or motion. Got it? So thumb will give the direction of force or motion in which the conductor will move, and in that very field. So on the basis of this, electric motor works. What is the electric motor? A motor is a device. A motor is a device which converts electrical energy into mechanical energy. It converts electrical energy into mechanical energy. So on what principle it works? It works on this very principle which we have discussed here right now, that when a rectangular coil, this is a rectangular coil, it is placed in a magnetic field and current is passed through it, a force acts on the coil which rotates it continuously. Principle is very important. You have to write down the principle. I repeat, a motor works on the principle that when a rectangular coil is placed in a magnetic field and current is passed through it, a force acts on the coil which rotates it continuously. It will rotate it continuously, and so when this coil rotates, the shaft attached to it also rotates. In this way, the electrical energy supplied to the motor is converted into mechanical energy. Got it? So for this, what you are using is, this is a U-shaped magnet, horseshoe shaped shoe-shaped magnet. So U-shaped magnet is there, only poles are being shown over here. Got it? There is a rectangular coil over here. So, and half rings are there, known as split rings, or you can say commutators. This is a device which reverses the direction of current through a circuit. This is why it is being used. It is soldered to these carbon brushes. Got it? So the function of commutator ring is nothing, it is just to reverse the direction of current flowing through the coil every time the coil just passes through the vertical position during a revolution. So how it works is, and if you want to know the function of carbon brushes, what is it? It is to make contact with the rotating rings. These are the rotating rings of the commutator, and through them to supply current to the coil. So it will supply current to the coil using it. Got it? Now you can see that about its working. Magnetic field is in this direction. Got it? You will use your Fleming left hand rule. Got it? Magnetic field, forefinger points towards the magnetic field, as you can see here. Got it? And center finger points towards the direction of current, as you can see here, like this. So this is the center finger going up. This is the forefinger in this way, and thumb, as you, I hope you are able to know, thumb will give the direction of, this is the thumb, this will give the direction of force. This is going downwards, as you can see here, once you pass the current. Similarly, after the, while rotating, while passing the current, this side will go downwards, it will move upwards, and accordingly they will change the direction. So this movement is anti-clockwise here. While rotating, when the coil reaches the vertical position, then the brushes, these brushes, what these brushes will do, will touch the, they will touch the gap between the two commutator rings, and the current to the coil is cut off. Though the current to the coil is cut off when it is in the exact vertical position. Got it? When it will be in exact vertical position, it will the current will cut off, and the coil doesn't stop rotating, because it won't stop rotating. Though the current has been stopped, but coil will do rotating because of the momentum it has earned. Got it? So after half rotation, when the coil beyond this vertical position, so the position will be interchanged, and so the two commutator half rings also automatically change their places with these from one brush to another. Got it? And this will reverse the direction of current in the coil. The reversing of current in the coil is repeated after every half rotation. After every half rotation, it will be repeated, to which the coil continue to rotate as long as the current is passing from the battery. Got it? So this is how the functioning of electric motor works. Now we come to the next concept of it, that is electromagnetic. The next concept is electromagnetic induction. So electromagnetic induction is, come here, electromagnetic induction is the production of electricity. It is the production of electricity. The production of electricity from magnetism is known as electromagnetic induction. Production of electricity from magnetism is known as electromagnetic induction. So when a straight wire is moved up and down rapidly between the two poles of a horseshoe shaped magnet, then an electric current is produced in the wire. So this is an example over there. So such type of current that is being produced because of magnetism and movement, so is known as induced current. So the current that is produced is induced current. We call it as induced current. The current produced by moving a straight wire in a magnetic field is known as, or by moving a magnet in a coil. So there should be relative motion between a coil and a magnet. As you can see here, in this there is a solenoid, and once you move a magnet either inside or outside, as you can see here, then you will observe that some type of current is being induced here. It has been produced here. As you can see the deflection in the galvanometer. If the motion of the magnet is in this direction, then you can see the deflection in this way, and if you reverse the direction, then you can see the deflection in the other way. So you can see that there is deflection like this. So it can be observed here, over here. So production of electric current by moving a magnet inside a fixed coil of wire is also a case of electromagnetic induction. So necessary thing is that for the production of such type of induced current by electromagnetic induction is that there should be a relative motion between the coil end of a wire and the magnet. Got it? When the direction of motion is reversed, the direction of current induced in the coil also gets reversed. For this we use Fleming right hand rule, like this. You take your right hand, same as the case here is, your forefinger pointing towards magnetic field, and this thumb will be giving you the direction of force on motion, and this will be the center finger. This is the center finger, like this. This will give you the direction of induced current. Got it? You can also have the electromagnetic induction using these two coils also. What you are doing here is you are just using these coils. This is known as what we will do. This is a coil A and coil B. Let us pass current in coil A. by pressing the switch. This is the switch over here. As soon as we pass the current in this coil A, the pointer of galvanometer attached to the coil B shows deflection, but quickly it returns to its zero position. This means that on switching on the current in coil A, an electric current is being induced in coil B momentarily. Got it? If the current is now kept on in coil A, nothing will happen in galvanometer of coil B. Let us announce you switch off the current in this coil A. What will happen? As soon as you switch off, the pointer of galvanometer attached to coil B again show some deflection, but in the opposite direction. It will be in the opposite direction. This means that on switching off current in coil A, an electric current is induced in coil B, but in an opposite direction. Got it? So this is how you can have such type of electromagnetic induction using two coils. Got it? You are passing current in one coil, but you are having the induced current in the other coil. So now we come on to the topic of generator. So what is the generator? Generator is it converts mechanical energy into a generator is it converts a mechanical energy into electrical energy. This is for the purpose why generators are being used. So it also works on the phenomenon of this electromagnetic induction. What will happen? What generator does is it works on this very principle that when a straight conductor is moved in a magnetic field, then current is induced in the conductor. So current will be induced over here. Two types of generators are there, AC and DC generators. The difference between these two generators is that you have slip rings in AC generator, as you can see here, and but you can see that there are half commutator rings in this DC generator. So here Fleming's right hand rule will apply. Obviously the same is the construction of this generator. Got it? Now what is going on there? Current is moving in the here what will happen, once you rotate it in anti-clockwise direction, then field is from north to south direction, motion is anti-clockwise, then what will happen is current will be induced in the downward direction, as you can see, and you can apply this Fleming right hand rule over here to find the direction of induced current. Got it? These slip rings, they are here. What their role in this sense is just to generate the alternating current. What will happen is, just after half revolutions, these sides will interchange. Got it? As a result of this, the direction of induced current in each coil is reversed after a half revolution, giving rise to the net induced current in the direction. Got it? The current in the external circuit that will flow from B to 1. Got it? Initially it might be from B1 to B2. Now it will be B2 from B to B1. Since the direction of induced current in the coil is reversed after half revolution, so the polarity of the two ends of the coil change after half revolution. So end of which was positive in the first half revolution, it will become negative in the second half, and same with both the cases. So it's very, very simple. Just you should focus on what principle the generator and motors are working. In DC generator, same working is as we have seen in the electric motor. Same half commutators are being used here. Got it? And same you will use Fleming's right hand rule over here to find the direction of induced current. I hope you are getting what I mean to say here is, and for more queries, stay tuned. I am from Tarun Tutorials. Hisar. You can, for your queries and other problems, you can call me at 9500919090. You can WhatsApp your queries. Please, after seeing this lecture, give a like to our video and subscribe the channel so that you can get more videos on mathematics and science subjects of 10th standard. So well prepared for your exams and for your and any of your queries, they are welcomed. So please stay tuned and give a like to our video so that more and more videos could come to you. Thank you. Thanks a lot. We will meet again. Thanks a lot.